Hi everyone! Today at Nana's house we are making paper finger puppet doves to go along with the lesson that our children's church is going to be doing tomorrow evening online. So I wanted to give you the video on how to make them so that you have your doves that you can play along with. Now there's going to be included a printable paper that looks just like this. It has a little bit of directions on how to cut the paper, but first, before you cut it, I want you to color in this bird. Now I've already colored mine in and then I cut it out, okay? And I colored it, I don't know if you can see, but there's a couple of colors on mine. I did say we're making a dove, and when you think of a dove, you probably think of the white dove that we see in pictures so often, representing the Holy Spirit. But did you know that doves come in so many different colors? And there are doves that are called mourning doves, and they're mentioned a lot in the Bible too. So I wanted to let you know that you can make your dove any color that you want. Be creative. So once you color this bird, I want you to cut it out. And when you cut it out, I want you to cut even on this line here. So cut all of the lines, and then you could even put snips up into the bird's feathers. I'm going to show you that right here. I don't know if you can see that. I did that on these. Okay, so I want you to do that for me. And then I want you to cut out these strips here, and they're just approximate sizes. There's also going to be an attachment for a smaller bird, which is exactly the same thing, but if you have little hands, you might want to use the smaller bird. So use the same directions, just do the smaller bird. Now, once we have cut out our strips, we're going to take them and wrap them around the finger that our bird is going to go on. So we need one for the back of our finger. And this is how you're going to wrap it. You're just going to take it and you're going to wrap it around, and you're going to glue it in place, okay? Not to your finger, but glue the strip to your finger. So now you see I measured one for the bottom and one for the top of my finger. Now why do you think that is? Well, it's because our bird has a body and a head. So we have to have a finger placement for our head and our body, because our bird is going to be able to move. That's why his neck is so long. So I'm going to push this down a little so you can see. Now what you'll need to make this, obviously, is this printed bird and some crayons and some scissors and some glue. You can use whatever kind of glue you want, or you can use tape, but I think glue would work better. So I want you to take your bird that's colored and cut out and your little rings that you just made, and I want you to put some glue like right where the edges meet in your, see where you glued it? And I want you to put that big one that goes in the back, I want that right in the center of your bird's body, and just hold it down for a second so that it stays in place. And then again, I want you to come up to the head. Can you see I have the head? And I'm going to just put glue all the way across. And I use a good amount of glue stick because I don't want it to dry too fast, because I have to turn that head in. So put this loop, make sure it goes down in the center, right where the beak is, and then draw the head close. Now, when you're doing that with the head, you can either overlap it, or I'm going to show you, or you can just have it barely touching. Now, if you look inside there, you can see that it's not totally glued. I don't know, can you see it's not totally glued down, but it is glued to this piece because we put glue all the way across. And it enables us to see the eyes of the dove, okay? Now, once you've held that in place, that's all done. Go back and put the loops through your finger, put the long loop down so that it goes all the way to the bottom of your finger. See, it's all the way down here to the bottom of my finger. Make sure that you bend your wings in because you want them to look like they're flying, okay? Then put the head with that other loop into the top of your finger, and you see the neck bends? Okay, now hold your hand kind of like this, all right? And then when you go up, it's like that. When you come down, you open it, and then you go up and down and up and down. And that makes your dove look like it's flying, doesn't it? You could also stop your dove somewhere and have it perched on something, like it's resting, and you could play with it. Like maybe it's resting on Noah's hand, or maybe you have an olive branch and you want it to pick up an olive branch, so use your fingers to do that and bring it up close to the beak. And you could just use your fingers to hold it in place, and you could pretend it's bringing the olive branch to Noah, and then you can go back to flying if you want. It's kind of fun, and it's neat to go through the house and move your arm. I mean, you don't even have to do the motion like this. You can just kind of dip it up and dip it down, and it makes the wings move a little bit, and you can see it better in person. Now, there is a second kind of dove that I was going to show you how to make, and that is just with a bunch of scrap paper. I even started one with a paper bag because I wanted you to see that you don't have to have anything special. You can use newspaper, a telephone book, you can use a paper bag, and you just want to color it whatever color you want your dove, because as I said, doves come in so many different colors. So you want to color it, and you should color both sides. I mean, you don't have to, but you should color both sides. I'm just coloring a little bit here because I wanted to show you how it would work. And then you cut it into strips. That's all done. Cut it into strips. And you could cut them into whatever size strip you want. Now I'm just going to do this size strip. For this bird, I am going to just show you quickly. This one I was going to use a stapler just to show you how. You just make this into a circle, and then you take the other piece and put it in the same place, but because it's bigger, because you're going to have two different sizes, you're going to put that in the same place. Now see how one circle's bigger than the other? That's how you have to make your loops. And I'm just going to staple these together just because I wanted you to see that you can use a stapler too. You can use whatever you have, see? Then for the head, we just do the same thing. We're going to take two pieces of paper. One, they're smaller than those, okay? And I'm going to make this one shorter. I'm going to do this with the construction paper again too. This is just a quickie to show you how you can use the stapler to put this together. Okay, so then you just staple that right there. You staple that together. Well, I'm not doing so well at that, so hang on one second. I know that not everybody has all the paper and glue that Nana has, so you can just staple. If you have staplers, you can use bags if you want to use bags. Then you find where you want to put your head on this bird, okay? And you put it here. And you use the stapler. Now I'm going to stop with that one because I want to show you I have all the pieces already cut out pretty much for this other bird. And that's this bird right here that we're going to make. Okay, this is the other dove. It's also a finger puppet. As you can see, it has two loops on the bottom. And you can do this way. I also have this one that has tail feathers on it. There's lots of variations that you can do. And they can sit next to each other. See, we make our little friends here. And I'll show you how to make the tail feathers and everything so that just in case you want to do it, you can do it. So you just need some paper, any kind. Like I said, you can use newspaper, whatever. I chose to use some scraps that I have laying around. And I have some red. So I'm going to start with red for my big loop. Okay, so I have a big loop that's red. But before I make a big loop, I need to make a small loop for the inside of that red one. So I'm going to hold it up against here, see? And I'm going to make it just a little shorter because you need to have, the inside circle needs to be small. And did you know, you could make as many circles as you want. You could make 3 inside circles if you want. But what you're going to do is just like you're going to make a paper chain, is put some glue right here on that inside. And then turn your paper around and put it on. Just make a circle. Okay, make sure you hold it good. Get it good and stuck. Then you're going to do the same thing with your red one. Or whichever color you choose, your longer one. But I put the glue on there first. And then I put, where you see where it meets here, I'm going to put that down on that glue. Okay. Then I'm going to put glue on this other end, same side, just the other end. Now watch. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to go all the way around and come up underneath of it. Now look, I have 2 circles. And as I said, you could put other circles in there if you wanted. I don't have another piece cut, but maybe I can use this piece for a second. You could put another little circle in there if you wanted. You see, well, that's not going to work. I will cut a piece just to show you. All right, so you could take another piece and make a smaller circle, okay? If you wanted 3 circles, you could do 3 circles. You don't have to do 2, so that's totally up to you. In fact, I think that looks really cute, so I'm going to put this extra circle in there. I don't know if I mentioned to you that I was looking up pictures of doves online, and there are so many pretty doves in so many different colors, and I learned lots of things. Doves don't really like to fly very far. They like to be more towards the ground. And lots of times when I have my bird feeder out, I can see doves on the ground at my house feeding, and they're so pretty. And they definitely have a very soft look to them. Okay, so now I have my body. This is my bird's body. And we'll talk about birds more. So just for the sake of doing a different color so that you can see it, I'm going to use pink for the head, okay? So I need to cut this smaller because I don't want the head to be the same size. We're not building a snowman. We're building a bird. So just cut a little bit off or tear a little bit off. You don't even need to use scissors for this, for that. And then go ahead and find whatever scraps you have to make another smaller one. So you see how I have that right there? I have to make this red one a little shorter. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to cut it. So you see, and there's no measurements. It's just however you want to do it. So make your smaller circle first. And we, like we did before, put some glue and go around just like that. So you made your smaller circle first. And then again, some glue on your pink piece, which I get that off of there. And put this right on the edge of that pink piece. Okay, I don't know if you can see with my hand in the way. So now you have, and there's so many things we could do with this. We could almost make a snail with this, couldn't we? And maybe we will someday. And then go back and put glue on the other side. And you can put a good amount of glue, but don't go crazy. Just want to make sure that it sticks, right? Make sure it's a good glue stick and that it sticks. Again, you can use tape, you can use a stapler, you can use whatever works for you. Okay, so there I made my head. And again, if I wanted to, I could put another circle in there. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it like that. Now, this is a head. There's some things missing. There's some eyes missing. There's a beak missing. I have this little scrap piece right here. I think I'm going to cut just 2 little specks out of it for the eyes. And that's all I'm going to do. And it doesn't have to be rounded or anything. I just cut. Can you see? Let's see. There's 2 little pieces right there. I know to me they kind of look bluish, but they're red really. So I'm just going to dab them right onto the glue. See, they're on the glue. And then I'm going to pull them off, and I'm going to put them on the top of where I think the head will be. I need a little more glue on that. Okay. And the same thing with this one. On the top of where I think the head will be. More towards the outside usually. Now, I need to make a beak. So, I have these scrap pieces of yellow. I want the beak to have a little bit of, I don't want it to be folded like this. So I'm going to fold it in just a little, like, I'm going to go with a longer piece. Okay, I'll find the center. So there's my center, but I'm going to go up a little bit from the center. Okay, and then the same thing on the other side. Up a little bit from the center and fold it in, so just so you have creases. Then go back to your center and cut a triangle. Okay, you want to start at this end and cut a triangle. See, now you can see that I cut a triangle, but there's a fold. Can you see that? And remember where we made those folds? There's those folds. And they don't have to be big. They don't have to be any specific size. It's whatever you want. You can have a big mouth bird. You can have a little mouth bird. Just put some glue on that spot where you made those creases. And attach your beak just below the eyes. See? Right below the eyes. Now, use your fingers again. Put them inside the loop. Make sure you press it. And don't worry if this flattens out because it'll straighten up again. So you can do that. There you go. We're going to attach your head to your body now. So you see, get that head and that body where you want it. See where your head has met the other piece. We're just going to put some glue on there. You could put a good amount on because you're not sure how it's going to line up. So we're going to do that. And just be careful because if your glue's not really dry, you can really knock that out. Decide where you're going to put it. I think you see where it is. It's got to be over that. Okay, decide where you're going to put it. And then hold it in place for a minute so that the glue has a chance to dry. See his little face now? You have a little face. The only thing we have to make is little feet for him, which are actually the holes that you're going to use to make him a puppet. But you can choose to make some tail feathers too. Oh, and you have to make some wings. So let's get some wings done. We'll do the wings first, and then we'll do the pieces that hold the thing in place. Okay? So I have this piece of paper, and I'm going to fold it just like this. And I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to start closer to this edge. And I'm going to point out, and I'm going to make a curve, okay? I'm going to go all the way down to the end. You don't have to, but I wanted to see how I made a curve, okay? Then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do the other thing on the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to make a curve, and I'm going to end up right at that same point, okay? Now, you don't have to, but you can make some snips in here to make the wings look like they have feathers in them, just like we did on our other bird. You don't have to do that. In fact, I haven't done that on any of the ones that I've made, but it does look kind of cute when you do that. So I'm going to do that. Then what we need you to do, I want you to open this up, okay? Then fold it just, see where the fold is? It's right here where my finger is. We're going to just fold it a little bit down from that because we need a spot to glue this onto the bird's body. And it doesn't have to be perfect because every bird is different. Just like every person is different, God created us unique, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now you see we have a little spot with which we can put glue on and glue these wings to our bird. So let's do that. Let's put some glue on here. Do you have a favorite bird? I mean, I know we're doing doves today because we're talking about doves for our Sunday school lesson or our children's church lesson on Tuesday. Now, take your wings and just put them right on the back. Put them up close to the top, and it doesn't matter exactly where as long as they're centered. I don't know if you could see here. Center them on this loop. And it's all right if they're flattened out now because the glue is only on that center piece, okay? And just hold it till the glue dries. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you bend them back up, and there's their wings. You can see they have wings, and if you've cut strips, you know, you can kind of curl them back. You can use a pencil to do that, or your fingers, however you want. And while we're letting that dry, we're going to make the little feet for the bird, okay? So again, I'm using yellow. You can use whatever color you want. And it's just little pieces. Same thing as before. You just let it go around your finger till it gets to the size you need it. And then you're going to say, okay, I know where that goes. I'm going to put glue right here on the end. And I'm going to make that little loop right around my finger. Okay. And then I have to do that again with this other one because I need 2, because that makes this bird more stable. The other one is, it rests on your hand better. So we're just going to do the same thing with this. Put a little glue on the end. And then wrap it around your fingers so that you know you have the right size. Okay. So now I have 2 loops that are actually going to be the bird's feet. Okay. So take right where you put that glue on the other side, put a good amount of glue right here. And on this one, same thing where the paper ends, right here. And we're going to see, you see where you have the wings. Now you're going to put these legs, and you're going to put them in a different direction because you have to put your fingers in here. So you're not going to make them line up like this. You're going to turn them like this so that you can see the holes. Okay? So the circles are going in the opposite direction. These are so you could see the holes. So you can see them right there and right there. All right, now if you want tail feathers for your bird, I'm just going to quick show you how to make them. But other than that, the bird's done. I'm going to show you how to make a tail feather. I'm just going to let this lay here to. Now I have this piece of, and it's folded, and I don't know why it's folded, but it's folded. So I like the way that's folded, and that actually makes a nice looking tail feather. But I'm going to pull it back so that it can be cut this way, and then I'll put it back. Just cut out a little feather, like same thing we did with the big one. Make a curve, and you can make it as big or as small as you want. You're only doing a tail feather. You don't need to have a huge feather. And you could see, just making a little curve. And because it is a tail feather, and again, you don't have to have the fold. You can do whatever. Because it is a tail feather, I'm going to go ahead and put some snips in here, and I'm going to make it look more feathery. It doesn't have to be thin snips. Just don't cut all the way across because you don't want to cut your feather off. And I'll do the same thing on this side. Just going to go ahead and make some snips just to give it a little dimension. And again, if you make sure you use safety scissors. Now I'm just moving it back to this. I'm going to put a little glue in there just because I'd like it to stay where I want it. So I just put a little dab of glue right there, and then I folded it back to the original spot where it was. So then it comes and it looks like this. You see, and you can fold that feather. Just give it a little pinch. See? All right. Then put your glue down here at the bottom, whatever side you want. It doesn't matter, depending upon how you pinched it. And you're going to, the tail feathers are going to go towards the feet. So you want to put it either up under the wing or right at the base of the wing. See how I have that? If you know you're going to put tail feathers on and you want to put it under the wing before you put the wing on, that's actually a really good idea. So you want to give that a try, go ahead and give that a try. But there is the bird with the tail feathers, and we're going to fold these wings back up because everything is now dry. And there's our dove. And we could call it a mourning dove if we want. We could call it whatever. And because I made these other ones, I'm just going to put this on my hand. So there's 2 of them, see? And they could be friends, and you can make a couple, and you could play. And you could pretend that you're doing Noah's Ark or whatever other Bible stories that you see that have doves in them, or birds. There's all kinds of birds in the Bible. The Bible talks about sparrows and how God has his eye on the sparrow, and because we know he's watching the birds, we know he's also watching us, and that he cares for us. He cares for every little thing about us. Well, I love you. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you enjoyed making our friends, the doves, and I hope you enjoy the lesson with Miss Haley and Miss Chelsea.